Top of the day to ya. We're back in here on this apartment where they had the ceiling vent had to be redone. Don's got it all painted. Looks pretty good. We just gotta get trash out of here. Let's see how that turned out. Oh, hold on. That come out pretty good. You know, I mean, yeah, you still got bad spots in it, but no, it's not too bad. It's a little flat. I could use a little bit better texture, but better than nothing. Better than a super smooth spot. So we got to caulk this and what else? Put the covers on. Put a new blind up, I think. Put the shelves back up. Door didn't come out too bad. No, not too bad. Not too bad at all. So, anyways, and put the shelf back up. New mini blind. This light here was a straight LED, and it quit working. I took it apart. I thought it was a bulb, but it's not. It's LED. So anyways, we get to putting this back together before we go back to the other apartment where the sink is and get the trim installed and stuff like that. I got a couple of work orders, got sink, leaking, nothing. Just, we'll go check it out. So, outlet, put a GFI in here. Turn on the tracker. I go turn the breaker off real quick. Hopefully I can find it first time. There it is. Bathroom. We killed it. So we're gonna pull this out. Put this in a GFI. Wow. I may put an oversized screw in there. Contractors galore. Okay, so what you got here is you got 2 hot and you got 2 ground, 2 white, 2 black. Let's go ahead and take the ground off. Make sure I didn't look. Yep, we're done. So the trick to this is, those are push-ins. So we'll get that wire off there first. And then these are push-ins. So you just rotate your outlet, pull and rotate, and it'll come right out. All right, so now I gotta figure out which one of these is hot. Okay, so separate all the wires, and we gotta figure out which one's hot. The easiest way is to take a stupid stick. Take a stupid stick, turn the power back on. It's right, number 19. Turn the power back on. Take a stupid stick. That's the hot wire. See, that's not hot. This side. This is the power supply. So we'll turn the breaker back off. Good times, man. Good times. Turn the power back off. And now on the GFI, you have this yellow label. This is what it's going to, okay? This down here, without the cover, is your line, which is your power coming in, okay? So on this circumstances here, because there is no other outlet in here, what I can do is just put everything in the bottom 2 plugs, because I don't have to worry about another outlet going bad. And also, if this trips, whatever else this is connected to will die. So on this here, I'm just going to put everything in the bottom. But if you were going to have, say there's another outlet on the circuit and we're in the kitchen, so you would put the power in on the bottom, which is your line, okay? And this would be your load. So this, when this trips, it would kill this going out. So right now we'll just hook everything up on the bottom. Remember, your gold wire or your gold or brass, that's always your hot side. And then your silver will be your ground, okay? I always look at it as what side is your ground wire and your neutral. That's the easiest way to remember. And I never use the push-ins, never. The reason why I don't do the push-in, which is just push them in, is because they will, if it gets hot, if the outlet is under a load, a big load, it will actually cause the outlet to let go of the connection. So now I'll do my grounds first. Let's see, I'm gonna have to loosen that up. Get your wires all in there. Now this is not a push-in, okay? This is the plate where the screw is. You can shove the wires behind it, and then when you turn the screw down, it mashes. This is not a poker outlet. You know, I think electricians call it stabbing the outlet when you use those push-ins. So guys, if you're doing an outlet, don't take the extra second to put it in this way. Use the screw what it's meant for. Okay. Get that wire in there. I don't like how it's going in. It's not going in far enough for me. There it goes. I don't like any excess wire sticking out. There we go, nice and tight. And we just push it back in the hole and put the cover on it. Let's see if my holes are blown out. Yep, they broke that off. Let's see if I can get a longer screw in there. It seems to be holding all right. Let's see if I can get that in there. Nope. Screw too long, drywall gone. Well, looks like we're gonna be doing some surgery on this one. We're gonna have to put a new box in here. Good times, man, good times. It's always that simple stuff that comes up and bites you. Know what I'm saying? So, we'll have to go get us a cut-in box and fish the wires down into a new box and go from there. This is old box, so you can actually break them out. That's what we'll have to do after lunch. You have to take this back out so we can put it in a cut-in box. So the wires in there, I'll get you in there. The wires are coming down through two different holes. So I can't really separate it because that's in the way, the ground wire. So we have to figure out, it looks like the stud is on this side over here. Let's get it in there. You can pry it back out. Most of the time they'll do that, they'll just bust because this was an old box. So get kind of fortunate on some of this stuff. You just break the box out of the way. Get a hold of the bottom. Like I said, this is old. These were old boxes. So you get kind of blessed when you got something like this to work with. And just push it down out of the way. I think these were like a fiberglass kind of boxes. You don't want to damage your drywall. But just like taking that ceiling fan out, or that vent fan. Let's get that out there. Just throw it back in oil. Okay. So now we got that big ugly out of the way. Throw it back in oil. Anyway, so you can see the nails. It had 2 nails in there. Get them nails out of there. And then bust them out. If I can get a hold of them, should be able to pull it out. Pull it this way. Whoa! There we go. There we go. Get them bent back a little bit so I can get a hold of it with a little pry bar. Or maybe not. I need to get back down there. I don't have a hammer with me. Otherwise I'd be hitting it with a hammer. Or a saw to cut them off. If I had a sawzall, I could cut them off, but I'm trying not to damage the drywall too much. I got where I beat on this. It's flattened that head up, or the holes out. Let's see if I can get that cleaned up a little bit. Yeah, that worked. Hold on a second. I might be able to get hold of it now. I'm trying to get that out of the way. I can get hold of it. Well, let's see if I can just bend it back out of the way. Bend it the other direction. Okay, that'll work. Now, I need to put the cut-in box in. This cut-in box. I'm just gonna knock that out real quick. Run the pliers in there, kind of bend it out of the way. I just bend it back out of the way. Actually, I think I'm gonna go ahead and twist it. Take it out so it's not in my way. All right, so I'm gonna run all these bars down to that little hole. Boop, boop, doo. Boop, boop, doo, boop, boop, doo. Look here, man. It's kind of hard. Get them all in that one little hole. Get that plastic out of the way. That'll work. Just don't want to tear your wire casing up if you're doing this. You're going to need as much of that wire as you can. That might work. Boy, that box is tight. Whew. Man, that's gonna be tight. Let me see if that's even gonna catch that drywall. So what you do is you take and turn this, and it flips up a little finger in there. That looks good. I'm gonna get this side to catch. I'd like to have it box over a little further. think that cover's gonna cover that gap. No. Oversized cover, that's what I'm gonna need for this. But for right now, that's all I need to do. Just tighten this up. And it caught the drywall. So. It's my son texting me. Anyways. So, let's see if we can get that down a little bit more. That's gonna be tight. Like I said, you gotta be careful on pulling on these wires, man. You'll tear the casing like that right there. But that's the ground side, so it should be all right. So now we hook the wires back up. Get the ground in first. Get my ground in. I'll have to get an oversized cover for this. I don't care much for the idea of putting caulk. You know what I'm saying? Probably could, but that's kind of halfway doing something. Now, let's see if I got enough room to get this hot on there. Ground it. That's pretty close. Ooh, just barely. Get that in there. Get that in there. That box ain't got much meat on it. You know what I'm saying? Like this right here, really not catching, but this is barely catching. But at least it's I've got something for it to bite to now, you know. That plastic's still gonna be on my rear. Yeah, it's just fine. Set your outlet in there where it's gonna go. Where'd the screw go? Why ain't that some freaking snot? What? That's funny, there's no screw on the bottom. That's all right, we can grab off here. If I push that over as far as I can. I don't like my box, it's sitting in there sideways. There we go. I like my outlets to sit flush. Let's see how big a gap it is. Yep, that's a pretty good sized gap, so I'm just gonna get an oversized cover for this. I'm not gonna caulk that. I'm better than that, so let's turn the power on, make sure she works. Woohoo! You got lights. Take my tester. You set those on top. Bam, got power. We'll just get an oversized outlet cover for that, and we'll be good, man. Woohoo! Got a sink to go check. Drippy faucet, I think. And that's about it. We're gonna go to Robert Hawk, but probably not do that until tomorrow. Or, sorry. We got the door that I just re-nailed together. We're gonna go over and I'm gonna show you how to do repairs on the door and not use drywall mud. Because where that door is tore up, it's on the edges, and if you put drywall mud on it, it's just gonna flake right back off. I'll show you a trick for that. Let's go, bro. We're back over here on this apartment where I did the sink. It's the next day, but anyways, on this door, it's good to go. I just got filled in those little nail holes, no big deal. I can hit that with some caulk. But what I want to show you is a trick that I learned years ago. When you got bad spots like this, it's not really that bad. A lot of guys will just paint over it and go, but it just looks like crap. But then you got sections like this up here where it's missing a big piece of the wood and it's in quite a bit. I'm going to show you an easy way to fix this that you would probably never think about. Bondo, all-purpose putty. It's automatic Bondo. You know, get you a little bottle of that, some little cheap throwaway scraper, get the hardener, and you want to get a sander for it. This is an 80 grit because this stuff is hard. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill this in with Bondo, and then it'll dry in about 20 minutes. You can sand it down, paint it, good to go. This right here will last you quite a long time. Depends on where you're at and how bad your doors are. But if you got a spot like this, you can't put drywall compound on that because it'll just flake off. But you always want to make sure you get any loose stuff off. You know, like this stuff right here. You know, just get all the loose stuff off. You know, make sure you ain't got nothing sticking up. You know, make sure you get all your looseness up. You can even take the sander, kind of rough up the paint a little bit. You know, get the edges. Make sure there's no dust on it. And we're gonna make us up some Bondo. Okay, so when you buy Bondo, it comes with hardener. Okay, but I always buy a little extra in case it gets hard or something like that. So let's pop the top on it. Now you don't need a whole lot. Bondo's pretty cheap. You don't need a whole lot for that and for the other end because there's a little spot the other end. So what's on this, it'd be perfect for what we're gonna do. That's perfect right there. Really didn't want to get that on my tool. Because that stuff hardens, man. It's a pain in the rear to get it off. Okay, we'll use this little scraper here. I won't get that off. Now this stuff stays soft and gooey like a hot plumber's putty, but it is sticky, but it won't dry. It'll take a long time for that to dry. So what you want to do is take you a little bit of Bondo, and the trick is about half the puddle. So you go about half that puddle. Get back on it. Now you got a little bit of time to work with it, not a whole lot, but all you do is mix it up. Just mix it up real good. Mix it back and forth. Don't get it on you. The old stuff was pink. You had pink. Stuff I grew up with was pink. Pink hardener. But this is a gel hardener, so it's a little different. But you don't have a lot of time to work with it before it'll start to harden up on you. So just mix it up the best you can. Kind of make sure you got all the same color. You know, it don't take long to mix it up. But it's just like working with drywall compound, except really super sticky. It's starting to harden up on me a little bit. So, yeah, just take it, mix it up. Man, it's starting to get a little hard on me. Okay, so now what we want to do is just spread it on there. And try to get your thickness right. I'd rather be a little thick and have to sand it down versus not thick enough, you know. It's got a funky odor to it too. Like I said, you want to make sure you get it tall enough or thick enough so you can sand it down. Just work it a little bit. sure you want to try to work it so they don't have a lot of deep grooves. Because the deeper grooves you have, the harder you're going to sand. Like I said, this stuff is kind of gooey. It's kind of like working with bubble gum. Yeah, I'm gonna let that go, and it'll bond. It'll bond up real good. So I'm gonna take the rest of this and go down and hit the other end real quick. It's just a small spot. Now there is other kinds of hardener or putties you can use to do this with, but I just thought it'd be cool to show you this way of doing it because we have another project we got to do, and that's one of the reasons why I bought the Bondo. You can get those little grooves, those little holes too. You gotta watch about putting it on there, bro, because it's not easy sanding. Cool. It's gonna take about 15 minutes for that to cure up, and I do mean cure up, bro. It is super hard. I figured what the heck, I'll go ahead and fill these holes in. Alrighty, so like I said, you can't make this stuff any more runnier. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is make sure it's that's gonna be pain if I don't do something with that. The sand down. Got a little gump on there. That looks alright. I'm gonna let that go. I'm trying to float this out right here. It's a little dip. I wonder how many of you guys are just freaking out because I just put Bondo on the door. Wait till we get started on the truck. We're gonna have to replace the fenders on it. And we're gonna use glue on fenders. So that's that. We'll let it cure up, bro. All right, so I've already got I went ahead and put a piece of trim up while this dries. It's already dry. Just go to town on it, man. Sand it down, just see how hard that is. It's hard. Just sand it down like anything else, If you get a dimple spot like that, you can actually take a blade and real slowly shave it just like a piece of wood. It's soft, okay? So you don't want to be gouging on it, but yeah. Make it look just like wood, bro. That's all you gotta do. It's a whole lot of sanding to get it down to where it should be, but this is gonna look perfect. And it could use a little bit more time to cure up, but it's pretty good. And if you get it like this, it's just a little dippy, and then I can still see this rim. But if you sand it, that just gets worse. Just put another little thin coat on. Before you know it, you'll be Bondoing cars. Because the dry time is 10 minutes. This only been sitting here 10 minutes. And you can see how it's got dimples in it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. And well, I'm gonna put a real tiny little light coat on there. Let's go check out the other end. This here is pretty good. Real lightly. You want to taper it in so you sand out your outer edge. That's one thing about like Bondo and drywall mud. It's all about that outside taper. You want to get that down as far as you can on the outer edges. As all this was is just those nail heads instead of using caulk. Then we'll go here, hit this real quick. But down, you know. So it's coming out pretty good, man. No big deal. Just a little sanding down on it. I'm gonna put a little bit thinner coat on that and we'll be good to go on this. I already did that piece of trim underneath the baseboard heater. It was actually pulled away from the wall. So I took the screws out, raised it up where it's supposed to be, and re-screwed it, and that piece of trim was able to go right underneath there. Just needs a little pretty paint. Pretty paint. Let's do something. So we got the trim underneath all the baseboards. Got the carpet fixed. Got the cover plate put on the door where the toque or the doorstop was not proper. I got the sink replaced. The door, I'm gonna let it dry overnight because I need my primer. I don't have it here with me, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this monkey up, man. And then tomorrow all I gotta do is just go through and paint. You know, basically just, you know, paint, touch up walls and trim, stuff like that. So not a big deal. It's a pretty easy turn, so we'll see you tomorrow.